That's the clunking noise I hear while driving, and it's pretty hard to miss, but I'm back home now. I picked up a couple of parts that I'm pretty sure are causing that noise. So let's dive in, get these installed, and see if we can finally put an end to that clunk. This is the rear sway bar link. There are two of them, one on each side. I suspect these are behind the clunking noises I've been hearing, so it's the first part we'll be replacing today. Now, I'm not totally sure yet if I'll need to jack up the car to replace these sway bar links. They're far enough back that I think I can reach them without lifting the car. If I get under there and it turns out I'm wrong, then I'll grab the jack and we'll go from there. But for now, I'm going to try doing the job with the car sitting on the ground, and we'll see how far we can get. All right, the first thing I want to do is basically hose everything down with some penetrating oil. Sounds like I'm about out of the peanut butter blaster here. Let's do the other side. This side's going to be a little more interesting on account of the muffler and everything. This is the driver's side. And it's a little hard to tell. Let me move you back. But I got a muffler and exhaust system right in the way of where I need to get this bolt out. So I don't have a whole lot of room back here to get that top bolt out. But I'm going to let the lubricant sit on it, figure out what bolt size we need, and then I'll bring you right back. All right, to get these bolts off, they are a 17 millimeter. I have a long flex head ratchet that I can get right over this top bolt here. And then hopefully we can work this off, and then if I can get it, there we go. And then we'll get the bottom one off. And then we'll move over to the other side and get that one off. We do need to get at least it looks like we need to get the tops disconnected in order to even pull these out. So I've got to get both sides off in order to drop the sway bar links. That may not make sense now, but hopefully it does, as we kind of get into it. So let me get these off, and then we'll bring you right back. All right, so I've got an interesting development for you. I think the top of this utilizes an Allen head wrench to hold the center stud steady while we loosen the bolt. Because as I'm spinning it, the entire bolt is turning. So let me see what Allen head wrench that is, and then we'll go from there. The bottom one, I know you can't see it, but the bottom one doesn't have that. So I don't know. I'll have to check and see if that bolt's going to spin. If so, we might have to get some locking pliers back here and see if we need to hold it with some locking pliers in order to get the bolts off. But let me figure out the Allen head situation, and then we'll go from there. Welcome back. So I did have to go through, I jacked up this side of the car. I had to do that to kind of drop this tire down so I could access this bolt better. I do have to get I think I told you I had to find an Allen wrench to fit on this. In this case, it is if I can pull it off the wrench here, it is the number 5 Allen head socket. So this fits right in the top of the bolt. So I need to use this on a ratchet to hold the bolt still while we take off the nut. So let me try and do that here while we're all together, and I'll show you how that's going to work. So I'm going to go on ahead and put my ratcheting wrench on there. And then we'll drop the Allen in there and then try and just like that. So my twisting must have already loosened it because I hadn't started this as of yet. So that's good. I did go on ahead, I took off that lower one that lower nut. I got that off. Didn't have any spinning issues on that. I was trying to get it figured out, and by the time I was like, oh yeah, no, it's spinning just fine. Well, I already had it most of the way off, so I figured we were fine. Uh, so let's get this off here and find out what we need to do to get the other side off. All right, now, in order to get this to drop out of the hole, I'm going to have to get the other side off so that I can move the sway bar down. Let me go ahead and see if I need to lower the car on this side and jack it up on that side, what I need to do in order to get these off. But let me go ahead and move over to the other side, and we'll get that started. There we go. All right, now let's try and get the top one off. I've left the car jacked up just on the one side. You can probably see the jack down there. Just raising it on that side has allotted more room over here, so I'm hoping I have enough room to access everything without having to in turn jack this side up. So let me get some of this set up. Let me get this on here. I think kind of. Actually, the top bolt isn't spinning, so as long as I can, I'm just going to sit here and use the ratchet. All right, so I was able to get that one off without having to put an Allen wrench in it. I keep hitting the camera, sorry about that. To get these out, I had to swing the sway bar down. You can see that. That allowed me to pull these out. All right, and looking at these sway bar links, I really don't see any issues. All the rubber boots look like they're in good shape. They seem to move just fine. They're not kind of frozen or jammed. So I'm not really sure that this was our issue, but there's a little bit that I've noticed that I'll show you here that may be the cause of our issue, and that is right here. If you can see that, the boot is kind of pulled away from the top, which means moisture could have gotten in there, and maybe down here it seems fine, but in the car driving with the weight of the vehicle and everything, maybe that's kind of preventative for this working that well. Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's just a theory, but I noticed it's that same way on both sides, that's kind of that rubber, I don't know what you want to call it, a rubber seal here is just kind of pulled away, and maybe that's kind of the cause of some of our noise. But either way, I got a good deal on a new set. I picked up a couple of these. What is this? This is the Carquest brand, but I do notice on these that it also has the center for the Allen wrench to go in. So I need to find out, see if that's the same size, that same number 5 that the old one took, or if it's a different size. It looks like it's the same, but let me get these protective caps off and figure out the size of the Allen wrench, and then we will head back down under the car and get these installed. All right, I'm having a hard time getting the top of this into the hole up here. I finally got the bolt through that hole, but it's only through, like, I mean, just a couple of threads. So I'm going to use this nut. I'm going to try and catch those threads up here just to hold this in place long enough for me to get to the other side of the vehicle where I've had zero luck getting it in. And I'm having zero luck catching any threads. All right, well, there's a few threads. Okay, let's move over to the other side here. And see if we can get, I can feel the hole, but I can't get this to go through the hole. That's kind of my issue here. Let me find that hole. I'm going to try and stabilize this with the Allen head wrench, or Allen head socket here. Mm-hmm. Yep. Trying to catch a few threads on a nut here, just to help keep everything kind of in place. All right. I'm going to go on ahead and put the nuts here on the bottom side as well. Again, just to try and hold everything in place long enough for me to tighten this up. And I did find out it is still the same number 5 Allen head socket to fit inside, and this works on both ends, so the top and the bottom. All right, let me see. Unfortunately, the new nut size is a 15 millimeter, and I don't have a nice long 15 millimeter ratchet. I've got to use a shorty, but that'll work. So I'll have to use my little shorty here, like that. Try not to hit the camera. And get that on. And then get that bolt tightened up here. I'm just kind of tightening these a little bit at a time. And so far I'm able to do this without the bolt spinning, so I'm just going to kind of do it until it stops there. Come back up to the top. All right, let's move over to the driver's side and tighten that up. All right, before I tighten that one up too much, I'm going to move on to this lower section. All right. And click. And click. All right, I think we got the sway bar links installed here on the back. The second issue I'm having with the car is here in the back seat. Back in July, when I bought this car, one of the known issues was the bad fuel pump. And in order to fix the fuel pump, I had to pull this back seat cushion to access it. When I did that, I unknowingly broke the driver's side retainer clip that holds this back seat in. So now when I drive around, it makes a whole lot of extra noise. Now, I went online and I tracked down a replacement retainer clip for it. Unfortunately, there's no instructions for it, so I have no idea how to replace one of these things. But let's start by pulling out the seat cushion, and then we can get a better look at the part and what we need to do to get this changed out, so I don't have to listen to that when I drive down the road. All right, so one of the things I noticed when I was unpacking the retainer clip is if you look right here on the edge, there are these two tabs. And it looks like if I can just get a screwdriver in right underneath that flange and just push in, I should be able to push the tab in and pull out the old one. So let's get into the car and let's see if I can just use a couple of screwdrivers to pop this off. Okay. Huh. I also found a nail in my car. All right, well, that's the old one now. And the new one looks like it just pushes right in. Yep. All right, I guess let's get the cushion back in. Well, hi, Tai. You gonna help? Guess not. Hey, it's fixed. It's been a few days since we worked on the car. I wanted to do more than just drive the car around the block to make sure it was fixed. I really wanted to drive it a few days and make sure that the clunking noise was really resolved. And I feel like I can say, yes, it is. I haven't noticed it at all. I know I didn't show it in the video, but I did go through and attempt to diagnose it. I used a pry bar, and while I was testing on that sway bar, the bushings looked fine. So that's what led me to being the sway bar links. But I wasn't really seeing a lot of movement there either. And so that's what had me a little unsure if that really was the issue or not. And I think we can safely say, yes, that was the issue I was having. So I'm glad to say that's fixed. I also wanted to give you an update on my sister's radiator. If you remember a few episodes ago, I helped her with her oil change and we discovered she was leaking coolant. And I thought she had a broken plastic inlet on the radiator. And it turned out, or at least it looked like, she had a loose hose clamp on that radiator hose. Somebody had replaced that original hose clamp with one of those adjustable hose clamps, and it was loose on there. So I thought, oh, well, that's the problem. So we went through and replaced it. Well, she sent me a picture just last night. So it looks like she's still leaking coolant out of the out of the car. So she's going to bring it by. We'll re-diagnose it and go from there. But I'll keep you updated on that. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.